Hello there, YouTube. Welcome to Bohicaville. Bend over, here it comes again. Today is Thursday, October 24th, 2013. I'm Paul, and I have a few items on my list tonight, and the first thing I want to talk about is the evolving train wreck called Obamacare, aka the Affordable Care Act. By the way, have you noticed that a lot of times government laws mean the opposite of what they say, or they mean the opposite of what the title of the law is? I mean, the Affordable Care Act really has nothing to do with care, and it's anything but affordable. Oh, and then there's the one small other minor little tidbit that it doesn't work. Okay, today, House hearings started with executives from some of the contractors who were charged with putting together the healthcare.gov website and systems. And they, of course, all say, oh, it's not our fault. It's not our fault. It's not our fault. All our stuff worked. Maybe it's their stuff that didn't work. Well, CMS was supposed to be responsible for all the end-to-end testing. And CMS, of course, is the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, which is a government agency, so maybe it is their fault. Who knows? Um, but the estimates right now of how much this thing has cost so far for something that doesn't work is anywhere between a couple hundred million to over 1 billion. I read one study today where they added together any federal contract that had been awarded in the last 3 years that involved work for the Affordable Care Act, and the total of all those federal contracts exceeded $1 billion. Now, that doesn't mean that every single piece of work there was for the Affordable Care Act, but it's still quite a bit of money. And when you figure it's probably going to cost several $100 million to fix this thing so that it works correctly, we could be talking about a $2 billion system by the time it's all said and done. One of the executives of CGI Federal, which is one of the main designers of the site, stated in her testimony today, her name is Cheryl Campbell, and she stated in her testimony today that she's not allowed to publicly disclose the number of enrollees they have so far. And I read an article saying that the administration doesn't want any of the companies revealing how many enrollees they have so far, because I have a feeling that the number would be embarrassingly small at this point. I put several links below in the description about this, so you can go ahead and read those if you want. Oh, and also another little interesting tidbit is that there was apparently no end-to-end system testing, complete full testing of this system until 2 weeks before October 1st when it went live. Now, I've worked in IT, and I've worked in IT in the health insurance industry. First of all, I have never worked on any project even remotely this large, okay? I mean, this is just gargantuan. I mean, I can't even imagine the scope of this thing. But I have worked on some fairly decent-sized corporate projects, and I can tell you that for a large project, you don't start end-to-end testing 2 weeks before your go-live date. You start end-to-end testing several months before your go-live date. And at the point where you start end-to-end testing, each component of your system should have already been individually unit and system tested thoroughly. So there obviously wasn't nearly enough testing done here. And another report I read said that part of the problem was because of a last-minute demand made by the Obama administration that prospective enrollees be required to provide all of their information before being given any quotes. Yeah, okay. Let's get all their private health information into our secure government database before we tell them how much it's going to cost. Because then we have their information. And of course, it's secure. Yeah, if you believe that, I got a bridge in Brooklyn for sale. Okay, moving on. German Chancellor Angela Merkel is pretty pissed off. She's pissed off because she found out that she is one of 35 world leaders that the NSA has monitored personal telephone calls. Apparently they monitor a huge number of calls every day. And I have to say, it doesn't really surprise me that we're spying on our friends, but that doesn't really make it right. I think Angela Merkel and Germany has every right to be angry at the NSA for this. One of the other countries that is angry is Brazil. And in a related story, Brazil has announced that they hope to complete work on an undersea fiber optic 34,000 kilometer long cable joining together all the BRICS nations. The BRICS nations are Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And they are creating their own network that they would like to remain free from NSA spying. And they hope to have this completed. As I said, Brazil's part of it, they expect to be completed by 2015. And I say good for them. They are, every one of those nations is among the top 25 economies in the world. China is second, behind the United States, of course. Russia is sixth. Brazil is seventh. I forget where India came in. South Africa was 25th. South Africa is the smallest member of the BRICS nations community. But there are other nations that want to join the BRICS nations community, such as Iran. They would like to join because it's not just our friends that are sick of us spying on them. It's our countries, the countries who aren't really our friends either. And can you blame them? I mean, do you want your personal business to get spied on? By the way, the NSA is spying on us too, but that's besides the point. Yeah, let's spy on everyone, including American citizens. Okay, and I have links below in the descriptions to all this, but next thing I want to go into here is the national debt. Our national debt, as of October 16th, which is the day that the 535 steaming, festering mounds of Potomac River manure, known as the United States Congress, came up with an agreement to extend the debt ceiling. They extended the debt ceiling for 3 months, but they didn't put a cap on the debt ceiling for those 3 months. So debt can go up within those 3 months as much as the administration would like it to go. As of October 16th, our national debt stood at 16 trillion 747 billion 360 million 549,057.23. That was October 17th. And now, 8 days later, and I checked this before I started filming, so it's gone up since then because it's continually going up. But as of maybe like a half hour ago, or around 8 o'clock Eastern Time, here in the United States, our debt stood at 17 trillion 70 billion 682,819,426.07, which means in the last 8 days, our national debt has increased by 323 billion 322,270,368.84. Now, seeing as we've been racking up debt at the rate of about $1 trillion a year during the administration of the Oracle, an increase in the national debt of over $300 billion just in 8 days seems to me to be pretty alarming. When are we going to get to the point where we just can't take on any more debt? I mean, if you have a $75,000 income, let's say, and you have $100,000 worth of credit card debt, you cannot get rid of any of your credit card debt by piling up an additional $25,000 in credit card debt. So where is this going to get us? It's just going to get us further and further down the rabbit hole. And eventually it's going to come all collapsing in on itself. And I saw one report earlier today that said it may be as soon as the second quarter of next year. And I hope that doesn't happen. I hope that someone in the government will come to their senses before that happens. I don't know whether there's anything that can be done at this point to save the dollar, but maybe we can delay its collapse a little bit. I'm not sure. I put a few national debt links down below also. 2 of them are running national debt clocks, and one is actually a government website called Treasury Direct, and that you can go back and get the national debt for any day from 1993 forward. So if you really want to throw up, you can go back and see what our debt was 20 years ago. And that's all for me tonight. Actually, I haven't looked at that yet because I didn't want to throw up before I filmed this, but I think I'll go look at it now. So that's all for me tonight. This is Bohicaville. I'm Paul. Ciao.